This is a story about a moment that arrived quietly and changed everything. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3:1, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." At the time, she believed she was simply in a busy season. Her life was full, meetings that couldn't be moved, deadlines that demanded attention, responsibilities that felt urgent. Her phone was always ringing, her calendar always full, and somewhere in the middle of all that was her father. He lived nearby, close enough to visit, close enough to matter. He called often, not to complain, not to demand, just to ask, "Could you stop by this week?" Even for a little while. She always meant to. She would glance at her schedule, mentally rearrange things, and say the same words. Soon after this meeting, when things slow down, he never argued, never pressured. He only said, "Whenever you have time." The Bible says in Proverbs 27:1, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." But tomorrow always felt safe. Tomorrow felt promised. She assumed time was patient. Weeks passed, then months. Her father's calls became shorter, his voice a little softer. "I don't want to bother you. I know you're busy." And she reassured him, "I'll come soon. I promise." Life continued at full speed. Meetings stacked on meetings, emails answered late into the night. Everything felt important, everything, except the quiet invitation she kept postponing. Then one evening, her phone rang, not with urgency, not with panic, just concern. "He's been asking for you. He seems tired." Tomorrow still felt reasonable. Tomorrow felt kind, so she agreed and returned to her routine. Morning came, but tomorrow didn't. The call arrived before sunrise. There were no long explanations, no dramatic words. By the time she reached his house, the rooms felt different. Still, too still. The chair by the window sat empty. The mug he used every morning, still on the table. The clock kept ticking, and in that silence, everything she had postponed returned at once. The visits she delayed, the conversation she rushed, the presence she assumed could wait. She sat down slowly, hands folded, unable to look around. And one thought kept repeating. "He asked me, and I kept saying later." The Bible says in James 4:14, "What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes." She didn't feel condemned. She felt awakened. She realized something she had never understood before. Love doesn't always ask loudly. Sometimes it waits quietly until waiting becomes absence. She saw how easily good intentions expire, how presence matters more than promises. Later, as the days passed, another verse stayed with her. The Bible says in Ephesians 5:15-16, "Be very careful then how you live, making the most of every opportunity." She began to live differently after that. She didn't wait for things to slow down. She didn't assume time would adjust. She showed up sooner, stayed longer, listened more closely, not out of fear, but out of awareness. So if someone in your life keeps asking for a moment of your time, if you keep meaning to visit, to call, to sit longer, pause. Busy seasons feel endless until they're not. And sometimes what we keep postponing is quietly asking to be chosen. She thought there would be another chance, and she learned that now is often the most generous moment we are given.